Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. So I might just ask all the panelists to come up and take a seat. So we've got Iuliia, Liana, Marek, and Dina, please. Thank you. So look, I'm quite a late addition to the panel. I'm visiting Chicago from Australia, and I've only arrived last night. I'm actually presenting another panel discussion for the Polish event. But I did want to say that I'm very pleased to be here, and thank you everyone for joining. We know that the war has affected everybody, but it's affected the 7 million children most of all, so this is a difficult topic. So those of you that are listening, whether it's online or here in this internet setting, take care of what we're going to be discussing. But I'm very interested in the perspectives of all the panelists. I'm briefly going to introduce everyone now. And firstly, we do have Iuliia Markhel, who's the advisor to the Deputy Mayor of the City of Kiev, Secretary of the Kiev Council, and a founder of an organization. Which organization is this? Tell us more.
Ukraine. So, I'm founder and leader of the biggest environmental NGO in Ukraine, and I worked in 10 years in Ukraine. And
the microphone might be there.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so
That's
much.
better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, I'm working in Kyiv City Council, and also I'm leader of the biggest environmental NGO, Let's Do It Ukraine, with 3.5 million activists in our projects around my country. And I live in Ukraine and traveling a lot, and always with all our volunteers, and understand how it is big this and global this problem with children. Because when you travel to humanitarian mission and working with children, you understand we live near superheroes. They are so small, but they can and live without lights, without water, without food. They lost some families, they lost some houses, they lost some friends. They never stay in one place safe. They have no chance sleep one night normal. And when you live with them together, you understand really how big problem is and how many things we must to do, like bigger brothers for these small heroes. And probably Kyiv City Council working with children, because we have 400,000 refugees and 67,000 children who came from another cities. But when we're thinking about health and mental health, it's about all 7 million children. Because they have stress, because they live in cities, and every day we have alarm, we have bombing, we have stress, we have everything else. And of course, it is so big problem because we haven't infrastructure for safe place. And we understand we need many places for this, because sometimes children need rest, really. And it is about big money, it's about big programs with all of us, with municipalities, with citizens, with NGOs, with donors, business, philanthropists, and everyone who can help, like expert, with resources, with some ideas. And maybe if you sleep well, in one moment you will have one more good idea how we can help the Ukrainian children. Just a second. Because, you know, these people watch to them eyes, how people died. And it is about 7 million people. And we must think now for future how these children can love life and how these children can be manage themselves and be bigger like this problem.
I think you come with a very interesting and important perspective from being on the ground there. We in the West don't see what you just spoke about. We can read about it, maybe see photos, but thank you for very much for sharing that, because it brings that impact of what's happening there on the ground today, but also how we all need to cope with that into the future in terms of managing those little lives, those people, those little children and bigger children and everyone on the ground, so thank you. I'll move on to our next panelist, thank you. So this is Iuliia Markhel. No, beg your pardon, Liana Khorovytska. She is the Ukraine Country Director for Community Organized Relief Effort, CORE. Would you just say a few words about what you do and how come you part of this panel?
It's a good question. Thank you. CORE is international humanitarian organization that delivers the emergency humanitarian assistance and long-term solution into underserved community all over the globe. In Ukraine specifically, we started to work in 2022, and like our mission and the overall idea a few months after the war was definitely, it seems like no one expected this to happen, but everyone expected it to happen. And in addition to emergency humanitarian response, I talked about it earlier today, that what we are doing, we're trying to do community stronger and resilient to be, first of all, to live without organization like us. And this is, I think, should be the idea that no matter where the crisis or war is happening, the communities, cities, people should be that much supported that they can live without any other additional support by themselves. What we are doing, we are working with children through making the places where they live, through making their community more prepared and more comfortable place for them to live. We apply this community-based approach and holistic approach to making the cities or like hromadas, regions more stable by, for example, repairing. We are assessing the territory, we're assessing the location and trying to provide several components to improve the life of people, families and children on the ground. By repairing the residential buildings, by supporting the social infrastructure, it's like a water supply system, schools, shelters, by helping their parents to find a job so they can ensure that kids are going there. I'm mother myself, and knowing not thinking I don't want to only receive support, I want to give. And this is how, when you have place where to live, when you have water, when you have heating, when you know that your kids will go to school and they will be safe, and you know that tomorrow you will come to work, you will have money, you can help them in that. This is what make life of family better and life of kids better. Because when parents, we talked in previous panel, definitely mental health is one issue, but there are reasons for it. And this definitely, we talk about kids, but this influence too much how kids are living if there is something bad in family and in community. By making the safer, comfortable communities for kids, we trying to make their life easier, comfortable, and first of all, safer right now.
Thank you. I will now introduce Dina Wild, who comes with a local perspective, I guess it's fair to say. So she is the coordinator of the EduHub in Chicago. in the Refugee Resettlement Initiative at the National Association of Higher Education Systems. So welcome, and would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and what motivates you in your everyday work?
Okay. As it was mentioned, I am a coordinator of Educational Hub here in Chicago. I've been living here for 2 years. And the Educational Hubs actually started in Ukraine in 2019, based on Association of Innovative and Digital Education in cooperation with Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. Once the full-scale war started, then they realized that people who go abroad, they need a lot of help to adjust their lives to completely new environment, and you know it's completely different to immigration. When people prepare to immigrate, they usually do a lot of research about the country where they are going to, but when it is a escape from the war, like it is in this case, people have no time to prepare to moving to other country, and that is why educational hubs were helping them to, you know, to adjust to their to the local environment and etc. So it was mostly they were based on people who already lived in the places. And now the educational hubs cover almost all the countries in Europe, and there is one opening in Australia, in Japan, and this summer we started educational hub here in Chicago. And we do here in Chicago, so actually the coordinators of educational hubs, they look for what is needed, what is required, okay? So here in Chicago, just for now, because we haven't been working for a long time yet, since only this summer, we trying to also to help parents and children, and particularly now because it's a season of admissions to colleges and universities. That's our main target now, but that's not only this. We help it to adults and to children. So we did some webinars and offline events about the admission, because it's completely different. The educational system in the United States is absolutely different than in Ukraine. So when people come here, they have no idea actually how to get education here, right? They only know that this is expensive, okay? And so we did also a lot of visits to universities, literally, just to have tours, to have informational sessions, so people, parents and youth, children, Ukrainian children who study in high schools here, so they actually work out that this is possible, okay, education and the higher education in the United States. And I would like to tell you a little bit of statistics that according to the United Nations Refugee Agency, 6.5 million Ukrainians, mostly women and children, considered to be refugees, not necessarily with this particular status, in different countries all over the world. As for February 2024, and considered to be more than 17 million people need humanitarian help. And according to the United States Department of State, as of December 2023, over 170,000 Ukrainians have been granted parole, what is called United for Ukraine. Also according to the Open Doors data, the United States was one of preferred colleges and universities admissions in 2022-2023. There were 2,027 students originated from Ukraine studying in the US colleges and universities. Now, if you think about the statistics comparing to the amount of people who came to United States as for the start of this year, 170,000 people, and which I mentioned before, that mostly women and children, and only 2,027 are the students. Actually, this comes to the question of how much the education is available for Ukrainian children and for Ukrainian youth. Because the life here in the United States gives a lot of opportunities, but it's tough. Okay, and I know personally that a lot of high school students actually working in the evenings, in the shops, to help their parents, to help their mothers, to survive here in the US. And I spoke recently to a girl who works in the supermarket in the suburbs where I live, and I asked her where does she study. She says she's the last year in high school. She came a year ago from Ukraine, and I said to her, are you planning to study in the university, in the college? And she said to me that I don't think so, because I would have to take exam, okay? And you know that, and I said to her, do you actually know that you don't have to take this exam, because they're not necessarily in the United States now. Some universities require them and some not. And this comes to the information. People need a lot of information because the educational system is completely different to give them opportunities to get the education. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very interesting perspective, and we'll continue exploring some of the things. But not before I introduce our next panelist. So this is the famous Marek Kamiński. Conqueror, explorer, but also a founder of a couple of academies. One is the Life Plan Academy and Kamiński Academy. Marek, would you like to say anything else about yourself?
Yes.
You can Google him as well. And you have a Wikipedia page too, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I am philosopher and physics from my background education, but I did a lot of extreme expeditions like the North Pole, South Pole, Antarctic. And I have also the Guinness record, like conquering two poles in 1 year. But maybe it doesn't matter in this panel. But the matter is that one expedition I did, it was the expedition with disabled boy who lost arm and leg in the accident in 2004. And yes, we went with him. He was 13 years old when we started this, and we went with him to North Pole, South Pole. And it was quite dangerous expedition, and his life became different after this. Now he's a happy father of 3 children, and his coach, mentor. He went to Kilimanjaro to El Capitan. He was dancing with the stars, and TV show and TV star, etc. But the most important thing in this process, it was not the North Pole, South Pole. It was, in fact, not expedition, but the transformation of his mindset. and the most important factor for him to reach the goals was the mental resilience, or I would say mental health. So on basis of this, because we work on this program, we work with maybe 20 scientists, and the preparation it took maybe 2 years. And on basis of this process, we build the process of building mental health or mental resilience for youth, for children. And we started this program like 20 years ago. After, so we built different tools, workshops, tutorials, books, and we work mainly in Poland, but when the war in Ukraine started, we translate all these tools to Ukrainian language, and now also this our app is in Ukrainian. You can download it from the App Store. Google is free from the Google Store. The name is Lifetime App, and it's also in Ukrainian language. And we started to work with Ukrainian refugees, Ukrainian children refugees in Poland. So it was mainly because to understand the situation of children and PTSD, for example, the post-traumatic stress disorder that they went through, and then to the way to come back to the health or to the balance. It's not only the child involved. Yes, it's also the parents and teachers. You cannot build the resilience by children or the mental alone, independent from parents and school, for example, because it's maybe it is hard to go too deep the details, but yes, you need also parents and teachers. So when we started this program for Ukrainian children in Poland, south of Poland mainly, we work with mothers, mainly with mothers, children, and teachers, and we have some different tools, and we started this in Poland, but we want, of course, to work in Ukraine also, and our tools are scalable, and we built also diagnostic for mental resilience. And I think that when you talk about education, about exams, about university, and about the future skills, yes, for children to have a good job or business or whatever, you need resilience, because we are living in the very turbulent times, and resilience is, of course, the war is the most extreme situation in the world, but world now is full of different extremes, and resilience is nothing else like ability to adapt to the fast-changing world in order to reach the goals, whatever the goal is: the happiness, the family, the money, business, help other people. To help other people, you have to help first yourself.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack. And in preparation for this session, we did run some questions past all the panelists, but what I wanted to ask you now, and on the back of what Marek just said, because, you know, wars, displacement, that's nothing new. Distress, that's nothing new. How do you protect yourself? How do you continue to be resilient, given what you're working with, who you're working with? I'll start with you, maybe there at the back just shortly. How do you look after yourself? Could you share some tips with us?
It's a very interesting question for me, because I am researcher eco catastrophe in Ukraine, Khorovytska HPP disaster, and ecocide in Ukraine, and I know true information. When you know true information, you can think about just yourself. And I have short information about ecocide, and maybe you don't know why sometimes your feeling is not good. But environmentalism has no borders, and everything what happened in biggest country, Europe's biggest country, in Ukraine, happened around the world too. So, all eco catastrophe what happened every moment in Ukraine, polluted air, water, earth. It's about our food, it's about our oxygen, it's about our everything. And of course, we understand pollution in Ukraine happened every moment. It is so long time, 3 years, when we have this disaster in one territory. Yeah, we are the minor territory in the world now and need more 700 years for rehabilitation, but all toxic substances realized into the environmental do not simply disappear, they accumulate in our body. And now, when we have some numbers about toxic metals, about toxic substance, about everything what happened after air attack, after eco-catastrophe with water, when the earth is polluted, we understand what problem with our health finally. It is about asthma, it is about bronchitis, it's about diarrhea, it's about all people, parents and children in place. And it is very dangerous because now planet don't know how long our children will live in this planet. You understand? Because it's about many pollution things. And all this pollution in our body. It is so dangerous. So, I have some facts, and if you need more information, you always can use W4UA. It is official website, the Ministry Environmental in Ukraine. You have all numbers, what we using, but 3 million hectares of forest have been destroyed in fire in Ukraine. 50,000 dolphins died in Black Sea, who we are. 61 million tons of harmful emissions to be realized into the atmosphere. It's just about some small numbers about our ecocide in Ukraine. And when I travel around the world these 3 years, I always asking people about everything. About help to military. You don't want help to military, please help to people. You don't want help to people, please help to children. You don't want help to Ukraine? Help yourself, because in Ukraine, ecocide and environmental has no border. If we are not balance ecosystem and rebuild everything immediately, all toxic substance will around the world.
Because you're quite a food basket of Europe as well. Liana, how about yourself? What, given bad news that we're hearing, what do you do to protect yourself from it?
Before joining CORE, I worked in the beginning of actual war in the East. I was working with OSCE, and I was dealing with social cohesion and mediation and facilitation issue. And we were trying to help to that time IDPs in the East to, like, I saw it, right? I couldn't imagine that it wasn't far from me because I worked there and saw it. And each and everyone had their own mechanism to cope with pain, and definitely there are like structured psychologists or whoever it is, but you don't know what, you can apply different standard practices, but you never know what can help you specifically. I'm now working with fantastic team, 100% of Ukrainians, all of them are once or twice IDPs. And you know, when something like there is nothing extraordinary we are facing every day, But when, for example, I don't know, the rocket hit the residential building in Dnipro, we have office in Dnipro, my team, without saying or asking, they immediately go there. They assess the need. They worked with government, they worked with other organizations, and when you are watching them, when you are working with them, when you are coming into the ground and seeing how they contribute, how like people suffering, but at the same time they want to help those who are in more need, you don't need any other inspiration, you don't need any other motivation. Definitely sometimes you think, sometimes I think that I'm tired, but when I'm thinking about those who are in the front line, this is the small thing that I can do, and this is probably what tires me, but at the same time give me motivation that you just can't stop.
I'll ask Dina the same question. Given the area that you work with, how do you look after yourself?
Well, I didn't expect that question, but I will tell you that I originate from the very east of Ukraine, and I had been living within the Lugansk region for 34 years, and I had businesses there also about education. There were tutor centers. And once the war started in 2014, this was a hard time for me. I had to completely leave all the business and leave all the children that we were helping to. And this was really hard time for me at that stage, and I couldn't find strength in myself for some time to start and work again, because you lose everything. Okay, you do not lose just the place. You lose the style of your life, not just home. You lose the environment. You lose people who you used to, and etc. Also knowing that people who didn't leave the occupied zone, they also had children, and for now the war has been going for 10 years, and it means that the entire generation has grown there in the occupied zone. So what helped me to return back and start feeling good again, and having a will to leave, is just start working, start help others, and that's important thing. And I think in talking about this, when we speak about that, most of refugees are mothers and children. If you want to help children, help their mothers, help their parents, and then they will be able, because if they are capable to live for their children, they will be able to help to their children. Okay, and mothers have no choice. Okay, they have children and they have to live for them. That's the first thing. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Marek, in some of the initiatives you've mentioned, you building kind of more global capacity. So it's not just a one-on-one conversation, it's about building tools and providing in-language resources. What does the future hold? And I know that we don't have a crystal ball, and we all wish that this terrible war ends tomorrow. But what are some of the perspectives into the future? Being a philosopher, perhaps you can inspire us a little bit. We've talked about heavy stuff.
But it was a very interesting question, the first question you asked, like how you care about yourself, because this is a very interesting question and very practical. However, I am a philosopher. I'm thinking like everybody of you is taking care about yourself, about your hair, you have clean garments, shoes, everything. You look very Europe is very clean. Anyway, so you have to take care. Probably you take care about your teeth. Yeah, you brush the teeth every day, probably, or twice a day. Maybe use even sonic brusher, or yeah. So what is taking care about yourself? But so everybody, I think, is like using 1-2 hours a day for taking care about physical and about this material thing. But how to take care about, so you anyway you spend the time for this, you have the time for this, yes. Yes, and that's a very interesting question, how to take care about your mindset, about your mind, yes, and it's not easy. And just to give you one perspective for this, when I went to the North Pole and South Pole, I didn't have the water for 70 days. I couldn't wash myself. I have the same garments, etc., etc. But so I couldn't take care about material things. But without taking care about my mind, about brushing somehow the mind, I wouldn't get to the North Pole, South Pole. And so this is a very important question: how to take care about ourselves. I was speaking maybe 2 months ago in UN session in New York, and also speaking in the head UN's high tier, the UNHCR. Yes, it's like High Commissar for Refugees. So that the people that take care like about other people, they are most burned out people in the world. So they will need help because they don't have tools to take care about themselves. So it's a very wide question, how to help the people who help other people. And this is a very wide and very serious question. So it's no time and space to go to this question now, but for me, like taking care about myself, it's like in the airplane. If you have this mask with the oxygen, before you put the mask for the other people who need the help, you have to put the mask for yourself. So for me, when I wake up, before I'm taking care about other people, I spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to take care about myself. And there is many things. What I use, for example, the very simple tool is like 3 words: acceptance, gratitude, and mindfulness. So I think about these 3 words at the beginning of the day. You can pray also, you can meditate, you can pray, breathe, you can do different things, but it really helps to care about yourself. And these 3 words, like acceptance, what the way of life brings you this day. Maybe it brings you the things you don't expect, but by acceptance you can move forward. Gratitude is a very powerful tool, and because yes, and because it's so many things that we can be grateful for like life, anything. Yes, you can breathe, you can make decisions. You are still alive. This is first thing you can be grateful for, and then to be aware.
And can I introduce another word, and that is hope. I didn't say that at the beginning, but I'm a former refugee. Was also displaced, and I can really relate to what you were saying, although I didn't experience war. How do you maintain hope and optimism in your work? Another question that I didn't tell you that I'm going to ask. But I think we're very interested in, you've told us so much about what's happening and what you're dealing with. But I think as a society, we do need to look into the future a little bit and just maintain that hope and that resilience that we spoke about here.
I'll try to start. I think partially I answer like hope this the previous answer, but I love Ukraine. I want to live in Ukraine, and I want my kids to live there. So they don't have any other home, and traveling around the world. So for me, this is like, I really see and feel that Ukraine is the greatest country in the world, who wouldn't want to live there. We discuss it and we talk about it with everyone, and I believe each and everyone said about the city, about each country. But this is just the home country. And no matter from what country you are, you want your kids to come home. Definitely, you want them to return to normal, proper environment. And it's not about only the walls, but you know, it's like you want society to have this fundamental rights, that they are committed, they are foreseen. You want to have the rule of law in place. You want to have the freedom of media. A lot of these fundamental values that are important. And working in OSCE was focused more on democratization and good governance, but right now it's not that values change, but your priorities changed. And definitely at the beginning, when we didn't have a place where to live, or it was dangerous, you were not thinking that you want whatever to listen to the music, right? And when you have your fundamental needs covered, you starting to think about something else. Hope it's, in Ukraine, it's, I forgot how it's called. People always need to believe in something. That helps them to live, no matter what it is. Armed Forces of Ukraine, God, whatever it is, but when there is hope, and for each and everyone it can be something different. Again, coming back to previous question, there might be small things. Listen to good music, read the book, run. I dance salsa when in worse and like in good and in worse. I'm going to salsa just to relieve myself. But hope this is, I want to return to peaceful, transparent Ukraine. And it's not only because peace, what peace means, what victory means. It's not only about then the bombing stop. It's about that everyone who is responsible, they're punished. That this Russian pays contribution, or it's a lot of things that it's not only about bombing, but about a lot of other things. And they just want to be at the time when it's over.
Thank you. Iuliia, talk to us about hope.
When we start this panel, everything was okay, but in 15 minutes ago, Kryvyi Rih in fire now, in big fire. And now rockets going to Kiev. And my hope and my big heart when I write to my chat, and all team sent message. I am in corridor, so I am okay. We thinking here. Don't worry, Julia. Stay on the stage. Everything will be okay. We go into shelter. Everything will be. And always, when I write message, everyone, are you here? They sent message, yes. And the biggest hope it is when you travel in front line. And first time in some school or kindergarten, and everything dark. And after 3 months, your hard work with humanitarian mission and renovation projects, you back and listen how they smile and how they live, and the children walking around and have some fun. And it is hope, because before was dark, and we live in dark life. So, my sense, everyone who are here have some ideas. Everyone who are here have some friends. You have more 1,000 contacts in this room, very big people who can help, who are expert, who are rich, who are humans, who take care of themselves. And I believe we can help to Ukrainian children. I believe we can help them parents. They all live in stress. We live every moment in stress. But I believe in one day we can back to our forest. In one day we can drink water from every bottle. And I believe it's happened because now I am in USA. And in USA it is progress with AI technology. And of course, if we will rebuild everything with humans, it will be a long story. If we will collect council, NGOs, business, everyone, AI technology, it will be quick, and maybe my children will walk in the forest and be safe.
Thank you. Dina, do you have a position description at CORE?
Sorry,
Do you have a position description for your job at CORE?
my position description.
Yeah. Is creating hope for children in your position description?
Okay, I believe that to have a hope, you have to do something, because you have no right for hope if you don't do anything to change the situation. And to help children of Ukraine, just help Ukraine win the war.
And you did touch on university and college education, and you've told us about the numbers, about how many people arrived here, yet so few are pursuing education. What more can be done in that space? And you mentioned lack of information because people just don't understand the system. Do you think there's anything else to be done in that space so that children can get that education they deserve?
Having knowledge about how everything works I think is the most important, because there are opportunities. There are opportunities for financing. Part of the youth that came here by the program United for Ukraine, I think by September 2023, they have right to apply for federal aid for scholarship. And there are some programs, some scholarships that are helping particularly Ukrainian students to study here in the United States. But I have to tell you that the interest to the Ukrainian topic, Ukrainian subject had decreased, and that is why some programs have been closed, but we still need education for our children. And you know that this is important, having programs to give them scholarships and keep them informed what is possible. Okay, because if you compare the Ukrainian system and the United States system is different. For example, in the company that I founded, Diagonal Solution, we help the children to learn math, and in Ukraine education is very academic comparing to the United States, and people who come here, they believe that math programs here in the schools, I'm talking about public schools, about high school and middle school, that it's not strong enough, and they believe in Ukraine it is better, but they do not understand what is important to admit and to get accepted, to get admitted to college or university. Is not just your academic skills and your GPA. It's also what you do, except a part of the studying at school. You have to be very active in your life. You have to be deeply interested in some other subjects than only studying. For example, in Ukraine, to enter university, you have to have good marks at the end of the last year, and you have to pass exam with high rate, pass the government exam. Here in the United States, the application is a complicated process where you write a lot of essays, you do a lot of research, and you have to present yourself as a person. Why are you so interested for the university so they would admit
You have to sell yourself. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you have to sell yourself, and this is completely different system. It's not better than in Ukraine, it's not worse than in Ukraine, it's different. And people just have to learn about this and have to learn it as early as possible. As I mentioned, that you have to do things not at the last year of your high school, you have to start at least in the middle school.
Thank you. So look, our panelists have been very generous with their professional and personal perspectives, so thank you. I'm going to open the floor up for some questions. We have about 5 minutes, so over to you, our wonderful audience. Yes.
Question for Dina, who I know for a while in the community, but I didn't know she's doing this wonderful project. Is it funded by government of Ukraine or some NGOs, the EduHub?
It is financed not from Ukraine, it is financed through the National Association of Higher Education System here in the United States.
Thank you.
I think we might be done. Yes.
Thank you so much, and we're always ready to action. We're always ready to go together. If you will in Ukraine, give me know, please. I will travel with you around, and maybe you will have some more things. If you have some ideas, please give me know. If it's not from my organization or Kyiv City Council, it is to another place. It's very great. And of course, if you're doing something special for Ukraine, always ask us, people who live in Ukraine. We're always ready to go. We're always ready to be with you and help with information, first of all, with more details, with photo, with videos, everything what you need for your best. And thank you for helping Ukraine. Thank you for everything what are you doing, and for this wonderful day, because really today we are happy because we are here, we are clean, we are together. So thank you so much. And thank you Bartosz and team for this big super idea with summit and this summit.
Thank you. Liana, just a few last words perhaps from you?
I'll join all the appreciation words, definitely. It's, I said before, and I'll continue again, that no matter what you do, where you do, how you do, if you keep on this attention, because it flows out of Ukraine, but whatever you are doing, just don't forget that war is still on. We are here, the majority will come back, and people are staying there, so just don't forget. And I'm definitely sure that we are now in Chicago, Chicago rising from the fire. It says, it might not be the exact wording, but Chicago will rise again. And it's like Ukraine, dark time will pass and the sun will shine brighter. It's from Tolkien, so I believe that sun is shining very bright in Ukraine. In any period of the sun, it's just a bright country. But definitely we will have power to shine brighter again. Thank you.
Thank you. And over to you, Dina. Just the last few words, comments.
I think I have a question to Marek.
Okay.
about your project, because as I mentioned that the statistics about Ukrainian refugees are important, but also we know that most of those refugees are settled in Poland, and this is connected not only because it was closed and the culture is closed and the language is closed. It is also about staying connected with their families in Ukraine who cannot leave Ukraine with many reasons. And I know many families that actually brought the mothers brought their children to Poland, and they live there, they work there, but they keep going backwards and forwards to Ukraine, to their husbands or to their older parents, so I think this is very important to support the families. Okay, helping children is supporting the families. Children do not exist beyond the family. Okay, so I wanted to ask the question about how does it work? How does your project works in this direction?
Before you answer, Marek, I have a challenge for you. We have 2 minutes because I have to run.
Yes, so very quick. Exactly as I said in the beginning, when we have program for children, mothers. So when we start the program in south of Poland, we train mothers as the trainer, the mental health trainer for the family and for their children and eventually other children. So we train children, and the mother became like a certificate of skills to be trainer of the kind of basic mental health. So we work for the unit, for the family, for even family without father, as you said. So this is our approach. So we work like systematically, not only, as I said, the child cannot be separated because the child doesn't exist separate from the system. Yes, even if there is an orphan house, it's still in the system. And just the final remark from my side, like this is maybe strange, but even the end of the war in the Ukraine is only the ticket to the other problems. I would say that I think the Henry Kissinger said that resolving problems, even the very complex problems, is only enter ticket for the more complex problems. So it's not about, but this is the wider perspective. It's not only about Ukraine. It's about us. That in the future will be more complicated, and we cannot. Before we could prepare the way for ourselves. Now we don't know in Ukraine or in America, nowhere. We don't know how the way looks like, so we can only prepare for the way.
Can I say something, please?
I am going to have to run, so there'll be a bit of a break, so by all means in a minute. But I just wanted to say thank you for the somewhat raw, honest and very down-to-the-ground panel, all your perspectives. Really appreciate them. We'll walk away inspired, and we're very thankful for your participation. Thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to say something.